All right, so these problems are a couple of review problems from Chapter 8. Hopefully you're able to find your notes. If not, we'll have a chance next week to be filling in some of the gaps in your notes. So graphing parabolas, what is the y-intercept? I gave you the little hint, which you hopefully had in your notes here. You're going to plug in 0 for x. So the y-intercept happens when x is 0. And so I simply go along the line. Everywhere I see x, I replace x with 0. And it works out pretty easy then. I get 0 plus 0 plus 8. And so this parabola has a y-intercept of 8. That's all there is to it. You just plug in 0 for x. X-intercepts, again, I gave you the hint here. It's a two-step process. You're going to factor and then use the zero product property. And so we're getting pretty good at factoring now. We know we are going to multiply to get 8 and add up to 6. And so that's going to be 2 and 4. And so I'm going to factor y equals x squared plus 6x plus 8 will be factored to x plus 2 and x plus 4. And I'm setting that equal to 0. And the zero product property says that each of those factors could be 0 then. And so I'm now going to solve two little equations. X plus 2 equals 0. So x is negative 2. And x plus 4 equals 0. And so x is negative 4. And so those are the two x-intercepts, right? The two x-intercepts. And so the problem didn't ask you to graph it, but we can certainly graph this parabola or get started now. We know we have a y-intercept of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we have two x-intercepts, one at negative 2 and one at negative 4. So we know we're going to have that U shape that's sort of hitting those dots there. And then to finish the problem, we want to know where the vertex is, and it gives you the hint again. The x-coordinate is the average of the two x-intercepts. And so I'm going to take the average of negative 2 and negative 4, which is just a matter of adding them up and dividing by 2. So negative 3, that's not a huge shock. Negative 3 is what's exactly halfway between negative 2 and negative 4. And then to find the y-coordinate, I'm going to go back to this equation, and I'm going to replace x with the x-coordinate. So the y-coordinate is going to be negative 3 squared plus 6 times negative 3 plus 8. So I replaced all my x's with negative 3, and then I just figure out this answer. It's going to be negative 3 squared is positive 9. 6 times negative 3 is negative 18 plus 8, and so I get 17 minus 18 is negative 1. And so the vertex is at negative 3 comma negative 1, and so that's just going to be right here, right in between those x-intercepts, and I connect them up in my nice U shape. I've got one of those fun parabolas from Chapter 8. Right, and so again, this is definitely, I think, something that you'll remember once you practice it a little bit, and you'll definitely want in your notes for the final exam. Next thing is the quadratic formula, which of course is up on the wall in the classroom. It should also be in your notes. First thing is to make sure the equation's set equal to 0, which it is, and then I can read A, B, and C off the front. And remember, A, B, and C are just numbers, so A is 3, B is 2, and C is negative 8. The negative is an important part of it. And then I just plug those numbers into the quadratic formula. And so it's the opposite of B plus or minus the square root of B squared plus negative 4 times A times C all over 2 times A. Remember, this plus and minus is representing two solutions at once, and so I will just get those two solutions at the very end, right? And so we're going to do negative 2 plus or minus the square root. So now I'm going to have here 2 squared is 4, and then I'm going to have minus and minus, so that'll be plus. And then I can use my calculator if need be. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times 8 is 96. All over 2 times 3 is 6. It gets a little crowded here, but 4 plus 96 is 100. And of course, the square root of 100 is 10. So I end up with negative 2 plus or minus 10 over 6. And so now I'm going to do the two problems separately. And so I'm going to have negative 2 plus 10, which is 8. 8 divided by 6. And I'm going to have negative 2 minus 10, which is negative 12 over 6. And so those are my two answers. You can certainly reduce these. And so if you reduce them, again, sorry, it's getting so crowded here, you're going to get 4/3 and negative 2. And so those are the two answers that we get from the quadratic formula. Hopefully this stuff is starting to look a little bit familiar from Chapter 8. We'll keep reviewing the next few days to get you ready for that final exam. You'll turn in the sheet with your work on it. Thanks. Have a good day.